gasp of life is to grab shows off the internet that are of higher quality than what they can do locally. You know, you're in a small town, maybe 5,000 or less. It's hard to draw out of that talent pool to do a good quality show. And since most people that are listening to the radio are so accustomed to listening to national and worldly people, they really have lost their appetite listening to the guy that they went to high school with. And that's just as simple as I can put it, and it really is easy to persuade them to carry the show. Here's the other thing. The guy that you went to school with in high school that's doing the show, they still have to pay that guy. When they carry this show, for the most part, it's free. They can just grab it and play it. And so that will interest that station manager also. So I would suggest, Darla, that's what you do there in Tulsa, and all of you that would like to carry it locally. And if you get it done, folks, let me know, and we'll announce it here, and I'll throw in something in the mail to reward you with. Hey, I've got a big announcement here. Starting Monday, folks, right after the weekend, I want you to tune in earlier in the day and listen to the Paul Drockton Show. He starts Monday, and then on this network, rinceradio.com, and then, of course, the amazing D.B. Kidd is going to be starting her show early next month, which is in just a couple of weeks. But Paul is starting, and let's listen to his show opening and get you guys all fired up about it. Can you play that, Todd?
He spent 4 years in the Air Force, 2 years in Uruguay as an American missionary, has been a college professor of U.S. history and economics, is a published author and a leading expert on the Illuminati, conspiracies, secret societies, economics, finance, history, philosophy, and culture. Has never missed a single question on any IQ test, making him the most intelligent patriot in America. This is the Paul Drockton Show.
And there you have it. That is the opening for the Paul Drockton Show. Yours truly wrote it and produced it and had it voiced. And there's a funny little story about it. I had to go listen to Paul's show. And, you know, I'm kind of a busy guy, so I had to sit down, you know, a half hour, and I went through some of his shows, and pretty soon, it was 4 hours later, Jeff, I was still listening to his show, and I'm like, oh, man, this guy is going to be huge over here at Rinse Radio if he can swallow up my day like that. So he sounds like a fantastic guy, too. I think people are going to really like him, and he's really a smart guy, folks. I think it's a whole different kind of show, and it's going to be refreshing, and I hope you tune into it. I think it airs 2 hours before this show, so check at rinceradio.com. Just hit on the host button, and it will give you the information of when he starts, but I think it's 2 hours. Nope. Todd just told me it's directly before my show. That is really good. So just tune in an hour before. It's a 1 hour show with Paul Drockton. Hey, Jeffrey, so we were talking, the Matrix and all that kind of stuff. What else you got for us?
Well, I got a little bit more on that. There's another way to think of us as being in the Matrix, and I personally am a huge proponent of what I'm about to say. And it's a little bit like David Icke, but then again, not so much like David Icke. You can think of us being in the Matrix, literally, in the sense, you know, think of the movie The Matrix, where these sort of lords of this horrible world that they lived in were living off human energy. Now, I hold something like that because I think that it can be, I would say I know it can be empirically proven that that's what's going on. Because basically the idea is that the whole Dark Ecstasy Theater that we talked about with the Illuminati spirituality, and a lot of, let me just continue. I was going to say something else. But that whole Dark Ecstasy Theater is all about feeding off of super intensive kinds of emotions. And I am more than confident, for a number of reasons, which I don't have time to list here, that the Nephilimic Illuminati masters can listen to our thoughts. I've discussed that before, and I've got a whole list of empirical reasons for why that's the case, and not just some flimsy ones, really strong reasons. So then, if that's the case, then they also should be able to listen to or feel our feelings as well when our consciousness spreads all out from our soul and our self, as I was discussing in the last segment. So that could be what's ultimately really behind all this dark spirituality that I've been discussing lately, that the Illuminati masters are creating a world for. And it could really be the case like that movie, Monsters, Inc., where there's basically just a non-human entity behind this whole Earth prison that we live in. And their chief goal really is to, I don't know if I want to say feed off, let's say I guess feed off our emotions and for a certain kind of spiritual inverted bliss that they attain. So that's sort of a real quick version of explaining something that can be described in a lot more detailed terms with all kinds of references and really clear points, empirical data points and so forth to back up that. It's just, there's a lot of things and a lot of ways to think about things that people haven't thought about before. If you do, it really can shed a lot of clear light on what's going on. So,
yeah, and if I could interject and say to the listeners, one way to think of this that is similar to probably a view that you already, or you might have, or at least you've heard of and you're familiar with, is demons. So imagine demons, and they're able to hear your thoughts, and they use your energy. And I'm going to say not just your emotional energy, but what they want. And this is what the puppets do for them, is to generate fear and anger out of us, so that they can live off of that negative energy. I don't think it's just energy per se, because love energy is wonderful and powerful, and I don't think that does them any good. I think it's always a negative energy, and so that's why I pretty much agree with your take on that. That's what the New World Order and the Illuminati are doing, and so they feed off of it to what end? Do you think they just need this Illuminati back there? Are they just needing it to survive like we need air? Or do you think it's a high, it's a rush, it's an exhilaration?
Yeah, this is for spiritual. It's kind of like we were talking about. I was so glad when that caller called in last night and said, that guy touched his hand or something touched his arm, and then that made him, go to the next level spiritually. There's an environmental trigger. This is all over Buddhism as well. And it's kind of like, we talked about that last night, so I won't repeat, but just like we can have environmental triggers, glorious sunset, all of a sudden suddenly hearing the frogs by the bog. That's my favorite example to use. There's a lot of bogs around here, and it always puts me in a higher state of consciousness. And just like we can have those environmental triggers for spirituality, there are, if you're in the direction of the dark ecstasy of the Illuminati masters, there are triggers as well. And I mean, their triggers are what they're turning the world into, the huge flashes of light that hit Baghdad during shock and awe. I've got lots of clips of that in my film, The Illuminati Are the Nephilim. All this underworldly, inverted, high energy stuff that they're turning the world into with war and, like I've said, it's just